fucked up one of the songs like royally. It was hell funny. It was bad. I was like, it just fell
like
apart.
played in an entirely different song, or
well,
like
no, just forgot how to play it.
Oh, okay.
It was he learned it like an hour before. Like
okay,
he learned it in the van like on the way over. Like it was like, you want to try this shit out? Like it wasn't like,
yeah,
there was no expectation. It was fine.
What is up, everyone? Thanks for tuning in. This is another episode of the Scope Exposure Podcast. I'm been very, very excited about setting up this this episode, and it happened really, really quick. For people that have been following the podcast for a minute, know that we did an interview with Waleed, who's the guitarist of Snuffed on Sight. But it was very apparent to me that Snuffed as a band is like the brainchild of the person that we're going to be talking to today. And, it's always good to be able to get the full lore of a specific band from, the person that came up with the sick, fucked up idea on their own. So with that being said, I'm very, very excited to be welcoming Seven of Snuffed on Sight on the Scoped Exposure Podcast. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. So this is, this is your first rodeo, but it sounds like you've checked out Waleed's episode as well as maybe some others. But we always check the beds.
I've seen way too many hours of this.
Oh,
don't trip.
Oh, you're a real one. You've been following.
Yes, sir.
That's very sick. I really appreciate that, bro. But you know the vibe. We got to check some bevs. What do you got for bevs for your episode here today, Seven?
Just for you.
Just the LD. Classic.
Hit the liquid death on them.
Yeah. The white can. Are you a white can or a black can man?
I'm not about sparkling water.
Oh, okay. So you're a white can.
Yeah. It's always weirded me out.
All sparkling water is weird to you.
Kinda. And then if it's flavored, I'm like, dog, just be soda. Like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Just be Fanta or Fruitopia honestly. Or whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's where's the lie?
Yeah, I feel. But yeah, I'm a white
all
can,
the sparkling water heads are just like, oh, this is not the episode for me. Let's skip to the next one.
I've met a lot of them.
I've met a lot of them. Yeah. I feel like people that are sparkling water aficionados are the same people that I get like very specific of like the country of origin where their coffee comes from,
Yeah.
I think they're in the same camp.
Also, don't really drink coffee. Coffee people kind of weird me out too.
You're just like straight up.
Y'all are so into it. It's crazy.
What bev are you so into? Or do you not get really into bevs? Everyone's got to drink a bev. Everyone has to bev check, but doesn't mean that you have to like die on that hill. But do you have a hill to die on? You have a mound of a hill to die on.
I probably drink too much soda. But honestly, like day to day, I'd just be fucking up some water.
Yeah.
Right.
What soda? Like, are you like bougie soda, or you're like Coca-Cola, like anything that's like super accessible?
Pretty much Dr. Pepper in any form.
Mm-hmm.
I like glass. I like a bottle Coke, glass bottle Coke, and there is the bougiest thing I can think of. There's this root beer out here. I'm in Minnesota right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's called 1919, I think.
Oh, okay.
It straight up just tastes like motherfucker dumped a scoop of ice cream in it.
Okay.
It's crazy.
1919 root beer.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I bought like way too big a case of one of those one time because I was like, it's not really. You got to kind of look out for it. So when I seen
Okay,
the
it's
case,
got
I
like
was like,
the red and the bubbly kind of bottom side. Okay, interesting.
yeah, I'll be fucking that
America's
up later.
original brewery.
Oh, excuse me.
I mean, like that seems like a claim as much as like any like coffee shop would be like best coffee in town or whatever. But yeah, well,
it's like
I don't know.
Anywhere in California is the original burrito.
Yes,
like, what?
We made it right here.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's funny because I don't know if you drink or not, but there's a brewery from back home where I'm at called Little Brown Jug, and they only made one beer for like years, it felt like, and it was called the 1919. And they were like, we're gonna make a beer that won't like we try to have it be likable by anyone's standards, whether they're an IPA or whatever. And it was like fantastic. But
so they're just like, we're making one and you're gonna like it.
Yes, exactly. And it was fire. Gotcha. I love it. But 1919 root beer, that's a new thing in my Bev radar. So I appreciate you giving a shout out.
Not gatekeeping over here. It's like good.
Yeah. So, you know, I am a coffee man myself, but I've heard. This has been something that I've checked since kind of being out in Eastern Canada, at least for the summer, that I've like I don't have access to out west, but maybe if I talk about it enough on this podcast, maybe they'll hook it up and I can just, bring it over. So I'm drinking what's called a Brust. It's a protein coffee. So it's like a cold brew, dark roast. How much protein is actually in here? 20 grams? Damn. This is like a whole meal.
Shit.
So, kind of like had a really light lunch because I had an episode just before you, and I was like, I feel like Snuffed on Sight is like a protein coffee podcast. So here we are. So
I know Wally would fuck some up.
Yeah,
that's a fact.
Well, Seven, great to see you, and very excited to do this chat with you. Thanks for coming on.
Yes, sir.
Also, very quickly before we get into like more origin stuff for you, do your what's the deal with your name? Because Wally mentioned your name was Seven, and I was like, do you have 6 brothers and sisters all named off of other numbers? Like, what's the deal? Do your parents hate you? No, of course they love you.
I'm a single child. I think it was my dad's idea, and he was like, he's an alcoholic. He's on a lot of drugs when I was a kid. So my mom kind of just thought he was crazy, and then she ended up really liking it, and found her own reasons to name me Seven. And
what's her
she
own
wanted
reasons?
to. She has a whole spiel she'll go on where like, I don't know, like I can't even remember, to be honest. Like it's like a thing. Like it's like a whole thing.
It's like
she wanted
a
to call
family
me,
dinner type of like, let me tell you the story.
Yeah, she'll break it down real good. I can't even. I've heard it a million times, but I still don't even know how to do it.
You've tuned it out at this point.
Pretty much. But she wanted to call me Kane, which is my middle name. And now they're switched. My dad will never call me Seven unless like I'm in trouble. He just calls me Kane.
Oh.
Like,
but it was his idea.
It was his idea, and now if I hear him call me Seven, I'm fucking like I'm dead.
Oh, interesting.
It's like him yelling across the fuck, like
right.
So yeah, the dynamics have switched.
Right.
It's real.
Yeah, but like it's super unique, and I don't know. Have you met anyone else named Seven in your life, or maybe a 5 or a 2?
No.
Any other numbers?
I feel I met some lady kind of recently, like a few months ago, who I think named her kid Seven.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I think I matched with a girl on Tinder whose name was legally 11.
Oh, 7-Eleven.
Yeah. I was like, stop. But not too much, nah. It's pretty most other people haven't come across too many sevens from what I hear.
Right. Yeah. Has that, like, I don't know if you like hit like the, it doesn't sound like you're a coffee person, but like, I imagine there's been times where you've introduced yourself and then people have been like, repeat it back to you, but incorrectly. Has there been anything like that where you're like,
If I ever tag along to a coffee shop with homies or whatever, or just even ordering food, it's usually Steven.
yeah, that's what I was going to guess,
And
is like Steven is like the one that people
yeah, no,
try
people
to
think I
guess.
just don't know how to spell my own fucking name. It's
Right.
great.
You're like, oh yeah, there's a T there? Damn, I didn't know that for my 20 years on this earth.
My fault, bro. My fault. That's crazy.
No, it's yeah, had to get it out of the way because that was
No, I
definitely
feel it.
something right off the top when Waleed mentioned that. I was like, what the fuck? But yeah, everyone else listening to this episode is probably, ask the real questions that matter, and here we are.
It's one of the main ones I get asked.
Yeah,
I have to pull out my ID and shit.
So, first time here on the podcast for you, Seven. So, I always like to kind of ask the same intro question if someone hasn't been on here on the podcast before. I always like to get a little bit of context about how people like discover all this shit, whether they're, 35, 20, 19, wherever they are kind of in the age spectrum. Because, there's usually a lot of differences depending where you're at, but also there's a lot of crossover. So tell me about the first time you were just hearing either hardcore, metal, like whatever was the first initial thing that kind of hooked you.
Well, my dad is, so I'm 23. My dad had me when he was 23, like 2000. So he's like a total new metal dude.
Okay.
And I grew up with him just bumping Slayer, Motorhead, Suicidal, fucking, and then just all the shit at the time. He gave me this MP3 when I was like 5, 6 years old. That was just, oh, here it is. This guy.
Oh yes, I was like, I hope that you have it.
Oh yeah, it's sitting around here. It's fucking.
Because there are people listening to this podcast that when you say MP3, they're thinking the file. No, it's like, no, the player MP3.
This was 2005. Fucking, yeah, but that thing, he gave me that loaded with fucking all the old shit, like Motorhead and Slayer and shit, and then like a couple tracks from each, like Slipknot, Korn, fucking Rob Zombie, Marilyn Manson, Static X, like a bunch of like more industrial side of new metal shit, like
right.
So that I would just listen to everything on that, like nonstop. There's hella country shit on there too. It's weird. But and then eventually he was moving around a lot, and he in Minneapolis, which was where I was born. He eventually landed in a house with this band called American Head Charge, who were like an industrial new metal band at the time. They went on tour with fucking Rammstein, Slipknot.
Oh wow. Okay.
They were doing it pretty big. Like some people know who they are. It's kind of weird. But yeah, I basically spent the weekends for a good while just up in this new metal crack house. Just watch. They had their whole setup in the basement. I would like watch them practice and shit. And just being around band dudes was, even though they were super gross, doing hella meth and shit, like just being just grimy. Like, I don't know, it's still kind of, I was like, I kind of just want to live in a house with a bunch of my friends and play in a band. seems pretty fun. I don't know.
Totally. Yeah.
And
it's not overcomplicated. Yeah. Like,
no, pretty much. I was like, it seems fun. It got a little scary at a certain point, but everybody got evicted and shit. But yeah, he eventually, my dad just kind of he went to rehab, fucking just got himself taken care of. Moved out to California, where he's originally from. Moved to Santa Cruz.
What
And
brought him to Minneapolis, I guess, before you came into the picture?
he, so he was born in California. Then his family moved to Oklahoma when he was really young.
Okay.
And he got kicked out real early and shit. He kind of had a rough one growing up. But him and his best friend, who was like my uncle Eddie, but they came up here to like go to college and like try
Gotcha.
and do music
Okay.
shit. And then he met my mom at a bar. So he was kicking around here, just chilling with bands and shit.
Mm-hmm.
He had a band, and I can't remember what it was called because he would only recently did he tell me the name of it. Because like growing up, he could never tell it to me because nobody would book them because the name was so fucked up.
Oh, okay.
So he just told me what it was like a few years ago, and I can't remember what it was. I wish I could. But yeah, he moved away, and I just kept listening to that MP3 and fucking slowly got more and more into like Metallica and fucking just all that shit.
Yeah.
Um,
Were you, I guess, like, you have this gateway through the MP3, but like this is still long before like social networks like MySpace and stuff exist, but it's not at like what it is now. Were you like, did you have other people like through school that were helping you discover, or were you like on an island and you were just using that as your reference point?
that's pretty much all I had. It was especially since like I like obviously MySpace was around and shit at the time, but I was just so young that it was like I was just finding out about Metallica. Like I was a little behind, you know what I mean?
Right. Sure.
There wasn't. There was like a homie here and there who was like, yeah, I like Linkin Park. And I'm like, all right, that's like word, but it's not really what I'm.
It's close, but not the real thing
Yeah.
of what I'm obsessed about right now.
Mm-hmm. And then fucking my mom moved us out to San Francisco to be closer to my dad.
Okay, yeah, that was my next question. Like, how? So, your dad
Yeah.
moves, and then I guess your mom's like, "Hey, it's easier. Let's all be there."
They haven't been together since I was fucking 2 years old or something.
Okay, yeah.
So she literally she had a catering company here, and she had her whole like she was set. Like
Oh wow. Okay.
I had a college fund and shit. She uprooted her whole entire life to just move to San Francisco and just basically start fresh, just so I could be like a few hours away from my dad instead of halfway fucking across the country.
Wow.
So I would take the train down to Santa Cruz from San Francisco every weekend for a few years and be hanging out in Santa Cruz.
Yeah, which is like, it's very interesting because like I always think about like what's the other timeline where maybe your mom doesn't move. Like, do you get as obsessed about the heavy music in Minneapolis? Like Minneapolis has like its own history and lore when it comes to different stuff, but like
Yeah, for sure.
I can't imagine a band like Snuffed on Sight starting out of Minneapolis compared to like something like California. Like there's just
No.
more activity and diversity when it comes to the different types of bands that are starting there. So it's just interesting to hear how like, the decisions when we're like, we're not the ones choosing to move. It's like our parents or whoever our guardian is. So, like, that still has kind of an effect in the grand scheme of things when you look back like, I guess this did play a part in a weird serendipitous way.
Yeah. No, she would have turned out way different if I stayed here. That's a fact.
Yeah. So you move out there, kind of like, when did like going to local shows and doing that kind of come into the picture for you? Perusing on your Instagram, like even way back in the day, I saw you like, go into like the bigger like shows when it comes to like different stuff that was coming to town. But when was like the local scene or local bands introduced to you?
So I grew up a little metalhead, just like a little patch vest in middle school, like fucking just going to death metal shows.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was so the first show that I went to in the Bay I went to like a Mayhem Fest, like 2012 or something. But the first like actual like club show I went to was Exodus, and it was supposed to be Nails opening in 2013. But Nails bus broke down, or their van broke down, so
Oh, okay.
they did not pull up. But because of that show, I went and checked them out. So like I was always like down with hardcore shit, like at least hardcore leaning shit, you know. But I was still way more on like the metal side as a teenager and shit. Just going to
Right.
fucking. I was super into Doom shit. I was super into Slam and Tech Death and just at everything else pretty much. And it didn't really help that there wasn't much going on in the city, like in San Francisco.
Mhm.
Like by the time I was like 16, 17, like I was starting to pick up on shit that was going on in Santa Cruz or San Jose and shit. And it was just like, it was cool, but nothing would ever be happening where I was. And I didn't have any friends that were trying to drive down. Like, I'm not going to fucking take the train down, but you know what I mean? Like, it was
Right.
especially like just not knowing any of the people playing or just anything. Like, I'm like, okay, like, just kind of stick it around. And then there was one venue in San Francisco that like shut down right before I started going to show.
Right.
So there wasn't really a lot going on around me. Like there was Gilman and shit, but it was still just like I didn't feel familiar enough to just start just going.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually our first bass player Shane, he joined a band called Urban Dispute, which oh my god, who was in that fucking band? It was just like a beatdown band, but it was Malachi doing vocals,
From Scout.
with like
Yeah.
with like a bunch of the Kind Eyes fools.
Oh, okay.
It was weird, but it was sick. That demo's sick.
That's
But yeah, my homie joined that band, and I would just tag along. So I was like, I've been to a couple of their shows, and that's where I was like, that's like where I got fucking kicked in the face for the first time. I was like, oh shit, okay, we're
Right.
gotcha. So yeah, it kind of took a while for me to actually get around. You know,
Yeah.
it's like you like now most of these fools know me, but if you like when Snuff was first coming up, it was funny seeing all the fools in the Bay bands just be like, who is this?
Right.
Like what? Like who is this fucking kid? I don't know. I've never seen him before.
Right. Yeah.
Like, oh, sorry.
It's funny that like kind of going back to like, you know, obviously a lot of your background is like on the heavier stuff versus like, you know, listening to like two-step more hardcore, like Madball or whatever. But like with all of those bands, like sometimes if you're going to a show that's just that, like, and it doesn't have any bands that have that hardcore background, like you'll just kind of get like a metal show, and that doesn't have like the same vibe of like going to a hardcore show, even if death metal bands are on the bill, but like everyone's acting the same way that they would to, you know, a Sanguisugabog as they would to Vamakara, so to speak. You know, like everyone's kind of just like pitting and just doing that, no matter if someone's pig squealing or just like talking through the set. If you know what I mean? Yeah.
No, I mean, everything's changed. It was not like that.
Right.
Like you were just at the death metal show. There was not if there was people throwing down, it would be like a bunch of dorky, smelly metalheads in like shitty patch vests talking about that's gay.
Yeah.
Like okay, bro. Like,
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah. The cohabitation for like moshing at a death metal show is like dudes just want to go there and like L'Oreal like their hair around essentially. You know, they don't want to like have the fear of like, oh, this dude is gonna like just pile drive me and just like absolutely ruin my night if I don't I'm not more careful about it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my god. I went to the obituary show the other day, and
Oh yeah. Was that the tour that Ingrown was on?
that's why
Okay.
I went. Yeah, that's what I went to hang out with them. I was. I
Mhm.
don't think I watched. I think I watched Redneck Stomp, and that was it. As far as the rest of the other bands,
Yeah.
but it smelled like in the beginning. It smelled so good in there. Like it was just all shampoo. Like it was crazy, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna just like stand here. And then I saw one guy that I was like, oh, okay, he's gonna throw down. I probably shouldn't just stand here. But all the rest of these currently lovely smelling fools are gonna learn real quick.
you know a show is authentic if there's like a lack of personal hygiene.
Yeah,
That's not
it
present.
got
If you're
it
going to
got there.
show and it smells like a Bath and Body Works, the vibe is not going to be
Yeah,
sick.
but, I like a nice middle ground where I can like breathe.
Yes,
But yeah,
but I want to feel a little disgusting at the same time, just a little,
Yeah.
just a little. That's so funny. So you're kind of going back. So like Snuff starts. Well, okay, like before we even get into like the response, like who is this kid that we've never seen before? Talk to me
Yeah.
about like, were you in bands prior to this? Like, was Snuff this project that you were working on for years and years and years? Like, talk to me about that because, like we said at the beginning, like any of the people that play alongside, whether it's Waleed or anyone else, like,
Mhm.
like to me, this feels like it's your band.
It is.
So like, talk to me about like, origin idea moment one and how that's evolved.
So I've only had one other band, and I started it when I was 13. Um, with this fool who's like 2 years older than me. I played drums, and it was like just on some like death thrash shit, low key, like just I don't know, it's pretty corny. But it was like us, like 13, 14, 16 year olds playing with like dudes who are like my age now, like 23,
Right.
25.
Mid-20s, late 20s.
Yeah, because there was nobody else that could play this shit.
Mhm.
Like we were good for what we were doing. Like we could play well and shit, but because we were metalheads, that's what we that's all we do. But it was it just slow. Like I was trying to make it like harder and harder, and it was like eventually like we broke up for other reasons, but it was like, yeah, I probably should have just done something new a while ago, like instead of trying to transform this into something else because it's what I had, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So that broke up, and I was like, okay, I want to do like I for sure want to just do like a just like a beat your ass like slam demo, and then I want to do like another one, like a different project that's like all like just like doom sludge like proggy shit like Macedon or something. But just go hella crazy. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna do the slam one first because I know I can do that like on a couch
Sure.
and not have to worry about like crazy tones and this and that, like whatever the fuck.
Right.
And so I wrote I wrote the demo, like those 3 songs when I was 18, 18, 19. And then I just I just had the riffs like in my head. Like I could pick it up and play them every once in a while. I'm like, oh yeah, I got this.
Yeah.
I just didn't do shit with it. I didn't have a band or nothing until COVID hit, and I was stuck inside, and some other shit went down that I needed distraction from. Right at the start of COVID, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna do that demo, like that slam demo. That seems like about the right time.
I have all the time in the world, literally. So
yeah,
definitely the right time.
like everybody else is doing one. Um, so yeah, I did it all on GarageBand. Um, I programmed the drums on there and did not realize until after I finished that you can't export MIDI files from GarageBand
Oh, okay.
to. So I was like, yeah, I'll just send them off and get them reamped, with like better drum sounds and shit.
Sure.
Wasn't a thing. Couldn't do it.
Shit.
Guitar tone, I was a fucking idiot and just going through it. I recorded my DIs with like a fucking shitty MXR distortion pedal over them. Yeah.
You didn't just
So
go straight in.
no. Fucking distortion on the DIs. So I sent it all to Cody from Sanguisugabog, Volcano now. And he was like, I'll see what I can do, dog. It's a little rough, dude. I was like, okay. And he sent it back. And I was like, all right, this is the best we're going to get,
Yeah.
And everybody thought I was just trying to be on some old school shit. I was like, no, I would have had it sound perfect if I could. This is literally just like my best effort. Like,
yeah. I'm not trying to sound bad on purpose.
No, this is literally as good as we could get it.
Right.
I apologize.
So you put that out kind of with some stumbles along the way. And and I think if I'm remembering back to, because I listened to parts of Waleed's episode where we talked about you specifically. I think he said that was kind of the initial thing that helped him put on to you, or was there another release in the midst of that?
It was probably the EP, like the full, but the one we did with Toshio with like no clown shit and like blunt cough and shit.
Okay. So you do the demo and then like you're like, okay, learn my lesson. Let's do something a little bit more pro. But that was still all just you, right?
Yeah. We tracked drums, kinda. They got fucked up. We like wasted a day at Panda tracking drums because the triggers were off by like
just enough
that it was like Toshio was like, dude, you're like fucking up, but like I don't know why. Like it was like he just zoomed in on the shoes, like, oh, and you could just hear our drummer in the drummer like, fuck. So it's like a whole ass day.
Right.
So yeah, that was all me. And at that, I'd only been working with fucking Barbaric Brutality, a little tape label I help run.
Yeah.
Which they hit me up right after the demo. Like before it was even out, I just put out one song, just like whatever. And they were kind of in the same stage as me, just getting up and running, and just being like, it was hard. Like, want to do a tape? It's like, oh my god, somebody asked. Yes, I would like to do a tape. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah, everything we've done since and up until this upcoming album has been only with Barbaric Brutality, basically independently.
Yeah. Which is kind of it's kind of sick when you do that, because it kind of like keeps all the cooks in the same kitchen versus like, oh, are we going to try to impress Lumpy over at Days? Like, it's kind of cool, like to work with people that are like they're already invested. And then, just the ease of that will make the tape release happen within a few months versus an entire year.
Exactly.
So yeah, I'm an advocate for like self-releasing, just like doing it on a homie label, like doing something just to have something that has a name attached to it. And, there's no contracts as far as like, oh, you got to do this many releases or anything.
Yeah.
But like that looks a little bit cooler than just being like self-release, just like posting it. Like if you have at least someone who's like willing to, help you make a physical, like even though it doesn't really make a whole lot of money, it's nice as when you're the musician that was like, I wrote these songs and you know, I have a bunch of tapes for shit that I wrote, and I don't have a tape player, but it's like it's cool to
Yeah.
be able to be like hold it in your hands, and it's like, oh, I made something out
Yeah.
of nothing.
No, yeah, it was just knowing that they were just starting out. They weren't coming from they weren't doing no sketchy shit. They're just like they were just real as fuck. Like we just like hard shit, dog. Like we just thought it'd be fun, COVID,
Yeah.
whatever, fuck. Like, and the main guy, Michael, he's been one of my best friends since, and basically anything that Snuff doesn't go through him, but you know, gets run by him for suggestion. We're like thinking about this, you know.
Yeah.
He's been a really big part of everything. Like,
Yeah.
since we linked up. So yeah, I'm really grateful to. Some of these labels are can be a little sketchy, though.
So, so y'all do the EP. Is that the self-titled one, correct?
Yep.
Got you. So that has the I think like Blunt Cough was like the first track that I heard from y'all. And I don't know if you did it as a single or something like that, but I was like, as soon as you started like just the vocal take at the beginning, I was like, oh shit. Like we're in for a fucking ride here. And it definitely
that was an accident.
That was an accident?
Yeah.
Explain.
I was tracking with my homie Louis, who's he's got a band around here called Cold Piece.
Okay.
I was tracking with him in his basement, and he fucked up. He didn't have it set as we had been tracking, and it was a 4 count, like going into track, like for every take, and this one was just not for some reason.
Okay.
So I came in when I thought the song was starting, just like the band, and like I was just gonna come in with that.
Yeah.
But it just was the song didn't come in, and I just did it, and I just did it again until the song came in. Like, I was like, oh, this time, nope, and then I was like, all right. And we listened back. I was like, yo.
So the initial idea for that song was just like 1, 2, 3, 4, and just one.
Just straight up hit play. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. That was it.
But you were just like, guys, come on. Okay, we got.
Yeah. Yep.
That's crazy. Because like, that is such an iconic thing from the earlier days of the band. It's the thing. It's like, I've seen live videos, and I think you guys did it at Act Like You Know, where you'll like ring out, and then everything cuts, and it's just you, and then you go into that song. Like, it just works so well. And like, the fact that it was an accident is almost cooler, I think.
It's way cooler. It happened, and we were both immediately like, oh, it's like one of them things.
Right.
Like, that just happens, and it's like the thing. Like, that was sick.
Yeah. Like I think when Tyler from Scarab and Gridiron was on the podcast, he's like, if something happens in the studio that's like, that wasn't planned, but there's something to it, like, you should roll with that. You shouldn't try to, like, you know, pun intended, like, snuff it out or try to like, oh no, like that was an accident, let's keep going. Like, there's a reason that was supposed to happen, and I think it's
sick. It's fucking sick. Whatever.
Yeah, 1,000%. So that is it fair to say that EP, like, that's where things start to actually like turn a little bit for y'all?
That's when people noticed who we were, for sure.
Yeah, because this is like summer of 2021 when shows are like kind of starting to come back. So I think like people have accepted the time of like, okay, we're in lockdown and I'm gonna like check out more music. So I think we're at like, not the tail end, but I think it's just at the, because at least on the Scope side, I think that's when I was like just really investing in doing the playlist. Like, we had done so many of those.
Yeah.
I remember when that track popped up, I'm like, like, I think I put it like first or second on the list for that month because it was like, I want to have this high on the charts. Going back, because you were saying how like just because like you moved to San Fran, kind of like where your dad was originally from, and then like hype for the band starts to build, and you know there's some people like, who is this kid? I haven't seen him at shows. Like, what's the deal there? Was that like a bit of a challenge, just to
Yeah,
kind of like add some credibility to the band, because like you didn't have the quote unquote years of being in this in the Bay scene for so long?
yeah, it was tough. It was shows were coming back, and I was stuck out here. I was just watching videos on my phone. I was like, "Fuck me,
Oh,
dude!"
so
Like,
you were back in
I was
Minneapolis.
a yeah. COVID fucking kicked me out of the Bay. I lost like both my jobs. I had to get out of there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, my mom had moved back here a couple years prior.
Okay.
So I just had the same. She left me in the apartment, and I just moved in some shitty roommate or whatever.
Mhm.
And I just moved back in with her here. But yeah, so I was just there wasn't much at a certain point. There started to be more and more shows, but not like it was in California.
Right.
Like it was that summer was I was it was major FOMO. Like
Well,
I was bugging.
especially off of like inarguably one of your biggest releases as far as like, you know,
It
at
sucked
the
not being
time.
able to just start playing
Right.
like with everybody else, especially with how good it would have lined up with like our release schedule. I was like, dog. Like, so that I wasn't going to shows when they were back. Nobody had seen me at shows really before,
Right.
and then I I was only able to like I was working in the summer, so I was like only able to come back in the fall, and that's when our first shows were,
Mm-hmm.
which nobody knew who I was, so nobody was like trying to throw me on a show, which is understandable.
Right.
Uh, so I did it myself. I fucking hit up uh, Mescalomaniacs, Out of Pocket, Shadow Man, fucking Parasitic Ejaculation, who's I don't know if you've heard of them. It's Parker from Shadow Man, who's filling in for Drain for a second. It's
Oh, okay.
his slam band from
Oh,
Santa
okay.
Cruz. They know who I am
Right.
because I was just a little fanboy growing up and just rip off all their shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was able to get them, and they're in Shadow Man, and I had kind of Out of Pocket was new too, so it was like, just want to play
Yeah.
at the X Bar?
Out of Pocket was also on like a bit of a demo high as well,
Yeah,
like via pandemic stuff. So yeah.
yeah,
Um.
they were getting it.
So I was gonna say, so like, and I've always like kind of struggled with this thing because a lot of people just know what they see, but they'll just like kind of like jump to conclusions. So it's like people might be like, oh, like if you look at, you know, I brought up Tyler from Gridiron and Scarab, like for
Mm-hmm,
a long, long time, I only knew him as the vocalist of Year of the Knife at the time. And then like
mm-hmm.
he's like, no, I've been playing drums like for forever. And then when Gridiron started, it was like, oh, he's like
Yeah,
a,
I had no idea he played drums. That was
mhm,
crazy.
yeah.
And he's
So
like
it's like,
he's the best fucking drummer. Like, what the fuck?
yeah. Dude is insanely talented. But it's like that thing where it's like sometimes with all the things that are going on within our own little, you know, subculture and world, you can only really, even if you spent 24 hours a day just like looking up all those things, you still would miss a lot of like key pieces. So some of it is like just the act of like showing up to the shows and doing all that. So, you know, for you, you might have not had the access to like go down all the way from San Francisco to like these other shows, but you're still
Mm-hmm,
wanting to do this band and you still want to be a part of the scene. But you might not
mm-hmm.
have as many opportunities, but then like people get in their heads of like, oh, well, he wasn't at this show, so is he even about it? You know, it kind of becomes this like weird
Yeah,
cycle. I don't know if I'm speaking out of turn as far as what
No,
happened, but
that's exactly how it is.
mm,
I wasn't. I was really young. Like people my age weren't going to those shows.
sure.
Like I didn't. I didn't know fucking anybody else my age that I could be like, bro, this Gulch demo, like, like that wasn't a thing. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Like maybe in fucking San Jose, but I don't know none of those fools. You know, like I'm
Yeah.
just out here in the city. Like I don't know. I guess they're just down in Santa Cruz or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Like the was that blue fucking Drain EP, like 27th. I don't remember what the fuck it's called, but that shit's fucking crazy. I remember I
Mhm.
found that when I was like 18. I was like, dog, like what? Like what is this band ever playing? Like what? I just didn't know what was up.
Yeah.
Like so, I mean, yeah, I haven't been around. Like it's fine. Like it's okay. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like I've been paying attention. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
Well, yeah, that's the thing that I'm trying to hit on is like people might not be able to go and do those things, whether it's like a geographical thing or like maybe they don't have the like whatever it is. But it's like if there's someone that's like still trying to do a band and they're like, we're based here, it doesn't need to be like, well, how many years have you know, like that shit is like kind of it's weird to me. I understand where people are coming from as far as like doing that, but then we're giving that energy, but then like what about like a 15-year-old kid who's like, this is my very first hardcore band and I'm trying to put like a demo together. But
mhm.
it's like, well, how many years? Like, well, I was like I born here, but like what? Like the minute that you're like you don't have like a curfew at home is like when you should be going to shows. Like it's just it's weird to me that people don't allow just like, okay, here's my entry, and like they're not willing to like learn someone's story. And you know, podcasts are great
Yeah,
to be able to like get a little bit of the context there. But if you're not even like willing to ask someone and understand like what the fuck is up with their
yeah,
life and then write them off or write their band off, that's a little whack in my
yeah.
opinion.
I mean, I totally get people being like, oh, you don't like. I haven't been seeing you around at shows. Like, why would why would I be associated with you in any way at all? Like, but like, I
Yeah.
totally get that. But at the same time, most of those people, once they find out how old I am, they're like, oh, you know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, it's
So
yeah,
everybody's
if
pretty
someone's
chill.
like
Like everybody's pretty
yeah.
chill about it. They're like, oh, you just weren't around. Like that's
Yeah.
like yeah,
If you're like a late 20s and you're like this is my first hardcore band and you're like, "Well, like where have you been for the
kind
last
of weird,
6 years?"
a little
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah. But if you're like, "Oh, you're like an actual like, you know, cuz there's people who are in their 40s and 50s, you know, so they might look at you and be like, "Oh, yeah, this kid's like a baby when it comes to like hardcore years." But yeah, I think it's like there is it's a weird blend of like gatekeeping in the sense of like you don't want just like someone trying to like genre jump as far as like, oh, I'm just going to do a hardcore band now, but I like came through the post hardcore scene or something like that, but I am just going to do that alone. It's like, well, you can do that, but like don't expect just the red carpet immediately. But like we want to get
you
the
can do
red
that.
carpet.
I'm gonna laugh at you
Yes.
though.
But I think it's like having the open arms for like people who are young, especially to be like, hey, like we want more of that. We don't want people starting bands only when they're 19, 20 years old. We want bands starting when they're like 14, 15, 16.
Yeah, it's. I mean, the fact that there are honestly, I've seen more death metal bands than hardcore bands, but even still, like the fact that I've seen so many like young ass kids like starting bands is so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like just when I was their age and trying to do that, it was just like I knew at the time that I was like, okay, anything I do from now until like I'm like at the very least 18 or 19, nobody's gonna take serious because I'm a fucking child.
Mm.
You know what I mean? But it's sick being able to see like legit children. just fucking play show. You're like, all right, word. Like,
Yeah.
people are about it. It's fucking sick.
Yeah. I think the whole death metal side of this whole conversation is interesting because there is that like sense of like, oh no, you're too young to like do that. And you even look at someone like Devin from Sangasugabug, like he still to this day will get people being like, oh, you haven't been around long enough. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, but to see
I
kids,
know that fool know more and weirder bands than you, dog. Shut up.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
he's fine.
So it's cool that like people who are even younger than yourself, even when you had the idea for Snuffed on Sight, like that are doing that, and hopefully people will just keep their mouth shut. Is like, don't, if you're a 40-year-old dude who's like an OS death metal dude, and you're gonna see like, don't go and shit on the 14-year-old because they're just like they're just trying to play shows, and like whether it's sick or not sick, like let it just be because that's way better in the long term.
You're the one that's fucking 40 years old still wearing a pad vest. I don't know what. Leave it to the kids anyway.
Yeah. So kind of takes some time. You know, you're back in Minneapolis, like due to the pandemic stuff. When does like Snuff play its, you know, I think around this time Waleed kind of like links up and you guys like kind of like figure out, because like, is it mainly like Snuffed is kind of like a fill-in band where, because I know like Benny was playing with y'all for a minute, and then it's been kind of some other people.
Benny's played with us twice.
Oh, okay.
He filled in for one show. He was like, "Can I throw y'all in my bio?" It's like, sure. Word.
Just one show is like, can I put this on my Instagram resume?
Yeah, I mean, because we were like, all right, so our drummer Lake, Laike, one word, like Prince or Cher or Sting or Seal.
One of those.
One of those. They moved up to Portland. Like we played our first shows, and then they were like, "All right, yeah, I'm moving to Portland." I was like, "Damn, that kind of sucks." It's not that far, but like, shit. All right.
Yeah.
So we've been like making it work. Like, but it got to the point where it was like, I don't want to ask this fool to drive fucking 10 hours down to play at the X bar. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, whatever the fuck. Like, that's like, it's just a little much. So we had Benny filling for the one time, and it was kind of just like obviously you are like the busiest person I know and shit, but like, you know, when you are, he's like, yeah, if I'm not doing something else, then for sure.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the arrangement we have. Like, if he's not busy, then fuck it.
Yeah.
But
most times he's probably busy.
He has still only played 2 shows with us.
Right. Is he still in the bio? I have to check that.
We should still be in his bio. I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna have to give him a call for
not. Oh, he's still in the bio. Shout out.
That's the boy.
Shout out, Betty. Love you, bro. So like, do you have like an official lineup for this band, or is it like a lot of like touch and go when it comes to like shows and fests and all that?
It's been pretty much whoever can make it, but for the most part, it is me and Waleed, and then the rhythm section from this band called Logistic Slaughter, who that band is the reason I started doing vocals. That's the guy. Like, man, I don't want to even say it. It's the guy I got the that thing from.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so the Lake is their drummer. They hit me up after I put out the demo, like, yo, if you need real drums, like for the next shit, you let me know. And that just kind of stuck. And then we needed a fill-in bass player one time. and they hit up the logistic bass player, Spencer. It's just a humongous, long, blonde-haired they them. Just fucking man. But yeah,
that was
that's
a
the
beautiful
main lineup.
description.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I hope they like it.
Hmm.
That's the main lineup if we can help it.
Cool.
But we will have Fred from whatever fucking band you want to B Streets, Force to Suffer, etc. We'll have him fill in every once in a while. And then obviously we wanted to make things real easy on ourselves. Me and Waleed will just drive out to Oklahoma by ourselves and have half a Peeling Flesh fill in for us.
Yeah. Which I have to commend, like, Michael and Joey, just like playing 3 sets. Because Waleed and I was listening back to our episode where I'm like, that is just irresponsible to do Cell, Peeling Flesh, and then Snuffed on Sight. But then I didn't even realize that those 2 dudes were gonna just do 3 sets back to back to back. Like,
yeah, Soto did all 3 too.
Yeah,
that's right.
Those are some real Oklahoma ones, if I've ever heard it.
That's the Oklahomies, bro.
Oklahomies, man. That's right. Why have I never said that until this moment? Shout out my Oklahomies.
Yes, sir.
Damn.
Oh man, yeah, they fucking. I was like worried. I was worried, but I wasn't worried because I've done it before. At least Joe had, which is who I was worried about. But we did it at the X Bar when Peeling and Cell rolled through the bay, and he had to fill in for us last minute. Fucked up one of the songs like royally. It was hell funny. It was bad. I was like, it just fell
like
apart.
Played in an entirely different song, or
well,
like...
no, just forgot how to play it.
Oh, okay.
It was he learned it like an hour before. Like
okay,
he learned it in the van, like on the way over. Like it was like, you want to try this shit out? No, like it wasn't like,
yeah,
there was no expectation. It was fun. But the act like set, I was like, you watch the video and it's dummy. The last song that we played of it, he nails it. He's like, you can see in his face that he fucked up last time, and he's not gonna fuck up this time. Like,
yeah, that was his redemption moment.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, we fucking killed it.
So that's a perfect segue because I wanted to talk about that fest, and we talked a little bit about just like the scary band rock block. Like Peeling Flesh set was fucked up and I was standing on the floor, and it was just like people diving.
I wasn't.
Yeah. By the time your set came up, like I'm cool guying and potatoing on stage for Snuff, and that was the right move. And it stood up there on the opposite side, so I had like pretty much, there's no way I could have missed it, was that guy who like jumped off the stage and like literally clotheslined himself on the PA speaker. Did you see that when it happened, or was that all like post set, like people telling you that?
Out of the corner of my eye, but I didn't know what happened.
Right.
Cause what I made, like, I saw him hop up, and I saw something happen. What I mainly saw was Sonny go. Like,
you saw him pan to something.
Out of the corner of my eye, it's just quick as fuck. I was like, oh no. And then after the set, I had like 8 people come up to me and be like, yo, did you see that fool like fucking die? I was like, no, is it good? I'm like, I don't know. Looks fucked up.
Dude, like walking out, and then I think seeing them sitting with like holding their head, trash can in front of them, and then 2 people on opposite sides like with both their hands holding ice bags on either side. So it's like an ice bag, like headrest, and just hearing the groans of that person, I was like, that is excruciating pain.
I didn't hear about none of that. That's fuck. Jesus Christ.
Apparently that person's chill and is okay now. So
we sent them some merch. I was like, you fucking took one for the team, dog. Like, that was I didn't talk to dude at the fest, so I just like posted the clip and I was like, yo, whoever this is, hit us up, dog.
Yeah.
With like I think like maybe a minute. It was like, that's me, bro. Like, I was like, all right, give me your address.
Yeah, like, need that address real quick, man.
You're crazy. He's like,
if there was
all good, bro. It was worth it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Yeah. If someone got like Sonny got the shot, but if someone got like the picture, and then y'all could like do that on a shirt, that would have been.
If it was the other angle, if it was the other angle, it would be fucking. Oh.
Right.
God damn it.
But you know, some things are better. Thanks, Sonny. Have there been any other instances in the Snuffed on Sight show discography where, you know, if that's the number one show injury, what's like number two? Who else is on the board?
I don't know if it's definitely not anything that crazy. I don't think.
It's fine if there's a gap between 1 and 2.
I'm trying to even think.
Like how do you top
they're all
yourself at a fest?
Most of the rest of them are pretty just pretty basic. One dude broke his hand real good. There's a video. We got a video of him just holding his shit. And his hand is so swollen. It's like, he's like, let's go. Yeah, no, there's not really anything I can think of off top. Just general people getting rocked.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just the
hands
usual.
That's pretty high on the bingo card.
Pretty common.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've never seen some dudes smack they shit the way they did that in Oklahoma.
Was that your guys's? You guys have played some other fests in addition to that as well, right?
Have we? We not really. We played Northern Alliance.
Oh, you played Northern Alliance, yeah.
So that was weird. We played with Comeback Kid.
Yeah.
In E-Town.
Acapella.
It's just weird.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was packing up merch and I was just looking down like for the balcony watching that shit. It was crazy.
That's a whole separate other podcast at this point.
Yeah, dude.
You could do a whole podcast just about that fest.
That was a day.
Is that like but I guess like my question is like, are you hoping that Snuff can be kind of like a fest band, or are you kind of more focused on like trying to be like a touring band that's going to hit like multiple cities like around the country there?
I'd like to play it. I'd like to play some fests. I think it'd be pretty fun. Yeah, I mean, me and Wally talk about it a lot. It's like we're down to tour like crazy, but like we don't want to like need to do. We don't want to like be like a touring band like that. You know what I mean? Like we're down to do it for like a second. You don't have to do it anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if it could be all fucking fests, weekends, fucking week longs at the most, like just with homies and shit, and then the occasional fucking open a metal tour.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that would, I think that would pretty much be ideal.
Yeah. It's like you would like to tour, but you don't want to get stuck into the point where you're like, oh, I feel like we need to.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
Yeah. Because you guys have done so well off the, you know, the very. It's not that you guys have done nothing, but it's like compared to like.
Kind of.
Well, like
Not much.
You look at a band like Drain, and like even before they had any hype attached to their name, they were just getting out there and doing the whole thing. So
Yeah.
it goes to show that there's not one way to do it, and especially like right now, like things are just so different that there's all these new ways to be able to kind of like get things popping. It doesn't need to just be touring.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that we're touring at all is kind of hilarious. Like, I don't know. I started this when I didn't think there was gonna be fucking shows ever again.
Right.
And I was like, all right.
Like this will just be a cool thing that I have on Bandcamp for a time. Yeah.
Like, yeah, this is goofy as fuck that we can do anything we already have.
Right.
Especially with the amount that we've put out. Like, we did. It was like 9 songs.
Yeah, I guess so. Damn.
Like, all together. And 3 of them sound like shit.
Well, speaking of new songs that probably don't sound like shit, as far as the time we're recording this episode, y'all have dropped one single off an upcoming LP that you guys have just done. The single's called Time to Dip. And y'all shot a music video, which I was like, I've just, as someone that like found out about a lot of bands in the early days through music videos, and even when I was getting into hardcore, there's like, I don't know if we're a music video band. Like, I feel like the age of that is over. I feel like people are just like, of course we're going to do that, but we're going to do it our way, whatever that is. So talk to me about like shooting that video and the song and what's coming up.
So we just, we pretty much just thought it'd be funny. Like, I mean, it's just us smoking and chilling in an alley and fucking Waleed ghost riding a Toyota.
Ghost riding the Toyota is probably my favorite point of it. It's like no fancy like rental car situation. Is like, no, this is my daily driver in this video.
This is the fucking that's what we all piled in to get there. That's what we got. Yeah, we just shot in the Mission. Fucking had the homie throw up a piece. I mainly just I wanted to have something on Slam Worldwide because somehow I don't know why, I'm just an idiot. I just never got it through anything on there, which is also hilarious that we've done as well as we have without like
the Slam Worldwide push.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's a great point, honestly. Because like I remember Peeling Flesh has a few of their videos on there, and they have like really, really popped. Like, sorry, Peeling Flesh, the videos have popped because it's kind of the same thing. Like, there's a Hardcore Worldwide, and like that's a little bit of it's a little cringe.
Really?
Now.
Oh, there is, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little cringe, but like the thing when I was approaching it to the guys in my band, because like an Endgame song is not going to go on Slam Worldwide, but I was like, there's 500,000 subscribers. That's just like 500,000 more people that are going to like either check it out like because they follow it or whatever than we would if we just made our own YouTube channel. So to me, it was just about the numbers.
Yeah, it couldn't hurt. Might as well.
Oh, like I'm trying to find what the top Hardcore Worldwide, because there's some stuff on here is like, I don't know.
Is it like a
They also
desolated
like
video or something?
they also like rip just like random videos. There's like a Rage Against the Machine killing in the name of that has like 4.2 million views. But like I found out about Wolf Down. It's like a European band from there. Who else?
It,
Who the fuck
it
is
sounds
there?
like a very European
Yeah,
central.
very much so. Let's go over to Slam Worldwide because I'm curious on who their top videos are.
Probably some like
Signs of the Swarm is the number one.
yeah, that old ass video.
Yeah, that is like 7. Is there any like? This is where I'm looking and stuff. I'm like, I'm not the person to be looking. I'm just kind of curious. The Peeling Flesh is anywhere up there. There's like a Paleface video.
There's like, I mean, probably a good amount of it. Like, yeah, like Paleface. I'm sure like there's like a couple like extermination dismemberment videos or some shit.
Yeah. But okay, yeah, this was the video I was thinking of. So it's the Candy Coated Corpse video that Peeling Flesh did. That has like almost 100,000 views, and that's only a year ago.
Yeah, they're Soto's really smart.
And then what are we at for you guys? Like the video's only like a few days old at this point. But that's
like
it's
like
it's 1 day old. Yeah, but it has 5,000 views. That's crazy.
It's not bad.
That ain't bad. So
yeah, I should have been throwing shit on there a long time ago.
Yeah. I heard that you have another video that's going to be coming out. Am I allowed to say that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We were pretty public about it. About the event. Yeah, we shot a live video at a wing spot that used to be a Burger King on Mission Street. I was getting DMs like, "Yo, is this the old BK?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Roll up to the old BK.
We were like looking for a spot around, like we're looking for a spot to do. There's just that honestly was like the only place there was to do it. Like as far as like something kind of cheap, like so. My homie Alex was just walking around his neighborhood. He was like a few blocks away. He was just like, he's like looking at a parking lot. He's like, maybe like this Bank of America is like fucking abandoned or whatever the fuck. He's like, maybe do that. And then he remember that he walked by the wing spot. And he was like, oh shit, they be doing like open mic nights where they like smoke weed in there and shit. Like, like I'm gonna go ask him if they ever. All he said was. He went in there and asked, and all the dude said was, "$300, you can do whatever the fuck you want."
Yo,
we were like, "Oh shit, okay, word."
We'll see if that paid off.
he's like, probably have it be over by like 9 o'clock too. I was like, that's honestly kind of sick, dude. Like, I don't know, everybody could go fucking still have a night.
Right
after the show, like
yeah, it's kind of like a mini matinee music video shoot.
Yeah, it was us and Force to Suffer. They pulled out some OG shit. They pulled out a couple You Lose tracks.
Very sick.
Yeah, but yeah, we packed a whole shit ton of homies and kids in there.
Nice.
And they all beat the fuck out of each other. This video is fucking sick.
Yeah.
Shout out, guess it's nothing to do with Kevin or nothing. He did both videos, but I'm so much more stoked on this video than the first one. And it's for an old song. It's for Slippin', the song on the demo that we re-recorded for the album.
Oh, okay, cool. So kind of pulling out an old thing but making it new again. That's sick.
It's the OG.
Yeah.
It was too long before. Now it's like 2 minutes, like 2.5 minutes.
Gotcha. So with this LP, like, is it because you were mentioning everything thus far has come out on like a homie label? Is there something different or anything? You know, usually when it's like details about releases, there's more that you can't say versus stuff that you can publicly say. But whatever that you
Yeah,
want to say, as far as people can expect or get excited about, like I'm all ears.
we're I think everybody knows it. We're putting out vinyl and CDs through Maggot Stomp and Creator Destructor. Are both
Mm-hmm.
going in on that, and then Barbaric as usual is just doing the tapes
Sick.
and some represses of the old shit. But yeah, it was 3 California labels, all dudes I can just fucking text.
Be on the same time zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, fucking. I'm stoked to actually like. I don't know. We've been friendly with these labels for a long time, but it's nice to let people know that we're friendly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Have it historically proven that
Mhm.
y'all are friendly. Yeah, yeah. I love that. Um, what's like an aspect of the LP that you're most excited about? Whether it was like how a song came together, or like the mix, or like anything on that front that you're like is maybe not out yet, but like that anytime you think about it, you're like, man, I'm so happy that we did this, or anything that you can talk about for that. And that could be for vocals, anything that comes to mind.
Um, I'm just I'm just really stoked on the last song on the title track.
Okay, last song is the
Um,
title track.
yeah, it's got the whole album has way too many features, but this one has 3.
Okay.
And it's I don't know, it's just fucking gnarly. Um, we took the end of the album is basically we would do like a dying fetus outro um, for like the first shows and here and there. And while he fucked up one time, when we were playing Sacramento, and he just stopped playing, um, like one breakdown too early, like before we were ending, and he just went. It had a hell of a delay on the mic, and it. And then he realized he fucked up, and he just came back in on the next, like on like the last breakdown. So I just still there's a video of that. Like I went and watched that, and I was like, "Dog, that sounds hard as fuck." So I just stole that, like us fucking up a dying fetus cover. So
And then
yeah,
like putting that
that's how
on
the
the
album
mic.
ends.
Very cool. Okay.
Yeah. So
One man's fuck up is another man's outro.
that's it. Well, he was like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm doing it." Like this is
You'll
like,
never forget it, bro.
this is it. Huh. Like, this is it. You're gonna have to do it. Like you're gonna have to keep doing that now.
Oh, true. Now, yeah, you're like you have to do it now. And you're like, damn it. I guess you're right. Yeah, I guess like when it comes like Snuffed is the only thing you're focusing on musically right now, and like rightly so. Like things are going so well. Like it would be weird for you to have something else that you're also trying to build at the same time. But like, is there anything else that you have going on musically, or like, is this kind of where your focus is for the next little while?
This is definitely where my focus is. Uh, I write everything for the most part, and I didn't have a laptop for like a good laptop that I could run Logic on and shit for like the longest fucking time. Um, and I have one now, so things are. I'm before I was like I would like write shit on a fucking on, on an electric that I couldn't plug into anything. So I just don't have any gear over here. And when I got a chance, if I was at a homie spot, I was like, go check this shit. Or like when I was see Waleed, they were like, I'm stealing your laptop for like several hours. Like that was when I would like actually get to hear the shit. But now things are going way smoother as far as writing. So I'm just taking advantage of that.
Cool.
Being able to do that now. But I don't know, I'm trying to fucking play bass and band or something. Fucking I don't know, some shitty hardware band.
Yeah.
Fuck. One of these days.
Well, yeah, maybe we'll see that one day. But I'm excited for to hear this whole thing once it's out, because like again, like that EP that I first heard from y'all, and even like when I heard the Dummy single, I was like, okay, these kids know how to cook. And then just like if this latest single that you guys put out is anything like that, if that's just the tip of the iceberg, I can't even imagine what boats you guys will sink in your onslaught.
Yeah, that was just a little tease.
Yes.
A little teaseroo.
All right. I have a few other questions, Seven, that are a little bit of a topic change. They might feel a little random, but you know, I'm genuinely
okay.
curious. Who's Jordan from downstairs?
Jordan from downstairs? He's he's a homie.
He's a homie. Okay.
I think he just moved.
I
don't think he's
not downstairs anymore. Oh, okay.
I think so.
he's moved up in the world.
Here's hoping. Oh man, that's a cousin cult. Fuck. I almost don't remember his name.
Jordan's not his name? Okay.
No, we just call him something else.
Oh, okay. Do you call him Wheatberry?
No, that's a
yeah, what's that?
That's Wheatberry is a local crackhead in San Francisco.
Okay.
Just see him on the bus in the high school and shit. The guy that was my roommate during COVID, at the start of it, fucking he knew him apparently. He brought him over to the apartment one day. And apparently Wheatberry is his legal name.
Oh, that's like his surname or something?
Apparently. Like, okay. This is what I heard from a guy who went to school with him.
Okay.
He's a lot older. He also looks fucking crazy. Like, I don't know. He looks wild, and he just be mobbing around, fucking spray painting shit and blasting Slayer out of a speaker. He probably stole like the same Slayer song like over and over again.
Yeah. Well, at least he has good taste in music.
Yeah, he's living life. Or when he came over, he was like, "Am I supposed to be here?" Like he wasn't. Like nobody was comfortable except for the guy that brought him was like laughing at me. But I was like, "Word, like,
right,
sweet." He
right, the joke.
He was like, "This,
we get like, the
this
joke.
Is weird." Yeah, that's Wheatberry.
Do you think Wheatberry would fuck with Snuffed on Sight?
I hope so.
I hope so.
I really hope so.
Do you think Wheatberry is listening right now, or probably doesn't have access to the podcast shit?
Yeah, probably. I don't know if he's all up on that. He's I know he has an Instagram, but somebody might have just made that.
Oh, for him?
Yeah. It's like I think it's like Soma Weeberry. He's always wandering around Soma, skate park and shit.
Well,
yeah, that's Weeberry.
If anyone who sees Wheatberry on a regular basis and wants to just, pull this part of the podcast for him to listen for a little shout out.
Mm-hmm. God, I haven't thought about Weeberry in a really long
time. I hope it's not like this comes up on the podcast and then you see him like consecutively, like week over week.
I'm sure when I go back to the Bay in a couple of weeks, he's gonna be like the first person I see.
he's like, "Hey, I heard you on that podcast." You're like,
"Yeah." For real.
Do you fuck with Dream Theater?
No. I don't.
How much do you not fuck with them?
It's just fucking like there's just a lot better bands, dog. There's just a lot better bands.
I feel like you've gotten in arguments about this with Dream Theater fans. Like, I do not have a dog in this race or in this fight or whatever you say, but I've been told that you are opinionated about it.
I feel like if anybody was trying to back them up that hard, I probably wouldn't be hanging out with them.
Okay.
So like this might just be from me ranting. Like,
okay.
Like I must be tripped. Somebody I know gotta like Dream Theater. I'm like, I must have argued about this with somebody. But I just hate dude's voice. It's just, I don't know, fucking would put on literally anything else. Like, I don't know. Whatever.
Okay. Well, no, I don't think anyone's wanting a snuffed Dream Theater crossover, so I think we're fine on that part.
No, I don't gotta worry about that.
No. Dream Theater. Why are we getting tagged in this podcast where someone's shit talking us?
This ain't got nothing to do with you, dog.
It's nothing to do with you.
Y'all do you.
The very last thing I'll ask you, Seven, before we start to wrap up. What does the term spinning plates mean?
So it's me and my homie Alex, who I mentioned before, you found us the wing spot for the video. We went on tour with this guy when we were 19. So by the time Snuff started touring, I knew what was up. So it came in handy in that sense, but fucking we went out with this old guy who does like psychedelic liquid light shows, like for bands.
Okay.
So like a doom band, just like a stoner rock band or some shit, or like, I don't know, some just hipster bullshit, whatever the fuck. Like it was like he'd have like old school projectors, like like ones they have like at school and shit. Yeah. He would have like plates, like two on top of it, like one on top of the other, and just like in the middle of it, he would have like lube and like food coloring and like fucking just the mixture to like, he would spin the plates and like press them all different, and like he'd have like a million projectors like just going to like the whole room, and it looked cool, but he like didn't have a sense of rhythm, so like he would just like nothing would match. Like it was like it was just like it was just retarded.
Great
I
idea.
don't know.
So great idea, terrible execution.
You see pictures of it and it looks insane. That's why we were like, "Yo, let's go." And we
But
saw
a
like
video,
one
you
show
would
and it
be
was
like,
like,
"What is happening?"
yeah. And he like he we were just like roadies, like we were pretty much, and he was having Alex like help do the shit. And it was so much fucking gear, like it like I can't even tell, like it was so much fucking gear, like for like it took like at least an hour and a half to set up too, like it was fucked. Oh
Because
my god.
you said that these are the school projectors, like not the ones that hang from your ceiling in your basement. Like this is the one
No,
that like you put something on top and then it like projects
with
up and
with
over.
the light,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
like a couple of those, and then like those would go to like fancy ass, like big ass projectors that would go like all over whatever room we were in. Like it was cool, but it was just like, oh, this is not worth fucking having your hands stained with ink like for your whole life.
Yeah.
Like this is crazy. We just sleep in his fucking old ass shitty truck with like cracked windows and shit, so it's just like freezing like at night. It was just all bad. But like first motel we stayed at had bed bugs. He was making the homie drive like half the time, which was not part of the deal.
Right.
He was like, "No, you can just drive. It's all good." Oh my god. There was one time we stayed, we got a motel, and he used every single towel.
That's impossible.
Every single one. I'm not joking. All of the hand towels, all like 4 of the regular size, like it was fucking insane. He had his hair tied up in one, like
Wait.
and they were
one hotel
all,
room is gonna have 2 to 3 hand towels for sure, and then there's like 3 to 4 like bigger towels for like showering. This man hoarded all those towels.
You're right. Yes, all fucking like yellow and like
they're all yellow
from the ink. Every single one of them. And he got mad, like he tried to call us out for using all the towels like the time after that we stayed in a room, like a couple of days later or whatever.
That's the pot calling the kettle black, bro.
He was like, "Hey, don't be using all the towels, guys, okay? I don't like that shit." And me and Alex just started dying laughing. We were like, "Dog, what?" Like, not like there's no way. Like there's no fucking way.
Dude.
So
wait, was he just using the towels and then he was like ditching them because they were beyond the point of being a clean towel to use and then going to the next one?
I would imagine.
Yeah.
That's
just
now that you're saying it, this is the first time I'm thinking it through like that. You're probably right. We were just like, we just couldn't believe it. We were just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
We ended up the last like dates of that tour we ended up at Desert Days Festival in like LA. It was like Devo, Flaming Lips, fucking Wu-Tang Clan doing 36 chambers all the way through. And then like the Locust. It was weird. But we got there and he was trying to have us stay up and watch his shit for the whole night. Like after we just drove down to LA from the Bay, like fucking 9 hours. So we quit the next day. It's like 3-day fest. We quit and we just fucking went watch Wu-Tang, got the fuck out of there. Went and saw fucking we we said we went and saw we stayed in LA and we saw that the knock loose tour that year. It was like fucking Candy and like rotting out and shit.
Rotting Out, See You Space Cowboy.
Yeah.
Stick to Your Guns, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was a good topper for that one.
All right, so here's a question. You have to spend 24 hours with either that dude or Wheatberry.
24 hours?
Yeah. Gun to your head, who do you have to pick? And you're doing you're doing everything. You're doing meals. You're like, you have to use the bathroom. He has to stand, or they have to stand right outside. Sleeping in the same room together. This is probably the hardest question I'll ask you all day.
It's crazy. Probably the guy. Probably Lance, the light show guy.
Lance, okay.
Because he'll at least he'll take me to Denny's. You know what I'm saying?
Wheatberry is a little too unpredictable, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Could be a good time, could be a bad time.
I don't know where I'm going to end up with Wheatberry. I know with Lance, at least at some point, I'm going to end up in Denny's.
Yeah. But, and if I bring my own towel, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. This dude would damn near just pull a full U-turn on the highway for a Denny's, right? Just Denny's, perfectly. Like, dog, what? Chill.
Oh, man, Seven, it's been like an absolute blast. We've covered so much. The very last part of all the podcasts here is do a favorite mosh-related story before we wrap up. So that could be wholesome, gruesome, something that happened to you, something you did. Whatever's first you had is how we start to end the show here.
I should have. I've seen the pod. I should have came more prepared. I don't know about favorite, but the off the top of my head, notable. I still have to go to the chiropractor from when I was 13 at that Exodus show.
Oh, that Exodus show? You got fucked up?
I got rocked into a cocktail table. It was like on a pole, so it was just like right, just right in your back.
Right.
So yeah, I couldn't walk after the show. I was mad fucked.
Oh my God.
I'm still fucked up from it.
Right.
That was 10 years ago.
Damn. What's your chiropractor think of? Why are you here today? Well, let me tell you.
Yeah. That's
Are you making improvements, or is it like, I don't know?
It's. Wait, I just have to. Not really.
I don't know why it's still going.
It's still pretty fucked.
Yeah. Well, maybe it would have been worse if you didn't get any treatment altogether. So.
Yeah, I could probably be a hunchback as fuck.
You would show up at the first snuff show just like looking like Notre Dame.
Probably wouldn't be able to play a snuff show.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So yeah, Seven. Anything you want to shout out? Anything you want to plug as far as the new snuff release? All the links for your shit and the band will be in the description and in the show notes. But anything you want to send the people off with before you go, the floor is yours, buddy.
Fucking album's coming out July 7th. No singles gonna be out before the end of the month. Yeah. Shout out the Bay.
Shout out the Bay. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Well, dude, the last time I saw you was at fucking in Tulsa. I don't know when's the next time we're gonna cross paths, but like I am hoping that
One of these
this
days.
one of these days. I'm hoping that this releases everything you guys have worked for and then some. Love to see people taking the opportunity to like do that dream project or whatever it is and having no expectation and having it just like explode and be everything and more. So I'm stoked for y'all. Thanks again for coming on the pod to chat. This has been really fun.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.